Hi, and welcome to On the Spot. To my left is Heather Howard, Double H. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me on your show.
No problem, anytime. You are with River
Ride Mini Ranch.
Yeah, now tell me about River. I've heard a lot about it.
Good things, I hope.
All excellent things. So tell me all about River Ranch.
Okay, sure. River Ride Mini Ranch.
Oh, I said it wrong. Say
That's
it one
okay.
more time.
River Ride Mini Ranch.
River Ride Mini Ranch, okay.
Yes. So we have officially been a business for, it was 1 year in June.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm just going to throw this big umbrella term out at you, and then we can break it down.
Okay.
We do equine assisted learning, and what that is we partner people with horses and do ground-based activities that build on life skills. And when I say ground-based, it's pretty much, you're on the ground, you're not riding. You're not doing this from horseback. Some of the activities include, learning to halter and lead a horse, learning to move a horse off of pressure. Some fun things we do with the kids. We play red light, green light with the horses. We do horse painting, which is actually to paint
Do the
a
horses
horse. Not yet, but I think actually we might have some Picassos in our herd,
okay,
so you may see some things on our Facebook page.
So horse painting, like you paint horses or you paint the horse?
So we physically paint on the body of the horse.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
okay, all right.
We've had a lot of fun with that activity. Our older clients and younger clients, everybody seems to enjoy that.
So you paint, it's like the horse in many colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me how that works.
Okay, so we get a horse.
Yeah.
And we hang out with them, and we'll probably tie them up somewhere so they're just in a spot.
Yeah.
And we have all the fun colors of the paint. Hobby Lobby's pretty great. So
yeah.
All the colors of the paint, and we have regular brushes and sponge type brushes, and you paint the horse.
Wow.
You just paint the horse.
Do you draw like a scenery on it, or just
whatever you want?
Really?
Yeah. The only limit is your own imagination.
Wow.
So sometimes we might ask you, to paint something that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Or just paint whatever you want. Or if there's like a word or something that maybe something you're struggling with, or maybe the life skill that we're focused on for that particular session. Paint something that has to do with that, or even ride on the horse and write out the words so you can visualize it.
So since you're using brushes, does the horse feel like it's being brushed?
The horse enjoys it, definitely.
Yeah.
I have one horse in particular that just loves to be groomed. He would probably stand still for a few hours and let you brush on him and stuff. So he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's so neat. I mean, is this something you found somewhere else, or did you think, well, this might be a good idea yourself?
So
how did this come about?
The equine assisted learning as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay, so fun.
Yeah.
I did not grow up with horses like a lot of people in horse business have. We actually bought our first horse 3 years ago, and it wasn't my horse. Yeah. We bought it for my daughter for her 13th birthday. Yeah. And we didn't know anything as far as how to care for a horse. Luckily, my husband had retired from Purina as an animal nutritionist, so he knew how to feed them really well, and definitely they are fed really well.
Yeah.
Lost my train of thought.
You were telling me how you got into the horse. You bought a horse for your daughter.
Thank you. Yeah. Wow. Sitting behind the camera, something happens up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got her the horse, and we had to learn everything.
Yeah.
As far as even having just the right setup for the environment for them to be in, and how you care for a horse on a daily basis as far as grooming and, picking out their hooves and making sure their hooves are healthy and clean, and having a farrier out to trim their hooves every 2 months. And
you didn't know any of this?
I didn't know any of this.
Wow. I wouldn't know neither.
Yeah. Even like here's
I'm just putting shoes on.
Here's a real fun fact. You have to have their like their private areas cleaned out every so often. I had no idea. No one ever tells you that before you buy a horse.
I never thought that either.
Yeah. That was a fun surprise.
I'd say, daughter, you wanted the horse.
Yeah, well, thank God the vet does it.
Yeah.
And
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's no amount of money that they could charge me where I'd be like, no, never mind, I'm going to do it myself. So super grateful for the vet and the vet assistant, and I let them do that. They also have to have their teeth floated, is what it's called, once a year, and it's where they just kind of go in and file the teeth because they kind of grow ridges and points on them over time, and then it makes it hard for them to eat and chew, which can cause a lot of other problems. So, yeah, we had to learn everything, absolutely everything.
And how'd you learn all this? Did you go to the vet, or did you just go on the internet?
So, definitely lots of good information from our vet, from friends who already owned horses, which that in itself was a whole fun thing because everyone who owns horses has their way of doing literally everything, down to the smallest thing. And everyone thinks that their way is the
best
way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
nobody else has
absolutely. So we got the horses, well, the one at first, and just from all different directions, we're getting all of this information that goes against, something that somebody else had said. And it was confusing and it was overwhelming. And I just needed to be like, hey, time out. Just let me get comfortable being in the presence of this horse.
Right.
That's a huge thing.
Did the horse like you in the beginning?
He tolerated us really well.
How old was he?
So Flash is now 22 years old. So he was like 19 when we got him. And he is a Halflinger pony cross. Stubborn old man, kind of a brat, not a cuddly kind of pony at all, but he tolerated us. They know where their food comes from. They're smart about that.
So he likes you for that.
So our relationship has since grown. He's still not a cuddly kind of pony, but he likes to hang out, so that's good.
That's nice,
So anyway, a couple months later, we finally decided, well, this being my daughter's horse, she can't ride by herself. What kind of parent would I be? So I had to have a horse.
You had to buy a horse.
So Kate Lunsford actually had a horse for sale who used to be a roping horse. Wilbur. He's the big quarter horse, a red roan. You saw Wilbur. You met him. Wilbur, that's my boy. He's a sweet guy. So we brought him home, and we're still learning. And definitely, when you multiply from 1 to 2, like it makes a big difference, which I kind of laugh about now because we have 10. So I'm like, I miss those days where we just had two horses.
Did Wilbur and what was your first horse name?
Flash.
Did they get along when they first met?
They did. And I didn't know this. Horses, they don't like to be alone. They're herd animals. They need to have, so if you have one horse, like you pretty much have to go buy a second horse. And Flash, if we weren't out there with him, he would just kind of stand and stare off out in the pasture. And we didn't even realize he was kind of depressed.
He was bumming out.
Until the day we brought Wilbur in. He came flying from the other side of the pasture, and they rubbed noses, and
that's my dude.
They were inseparable after that. And you could just see a total change in Flash. He was just more alive and, moved around more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. So I didn't know that, but I learned that. And we've definitely learned a lot of lessons along the journey. And usually we learn them the hard way.
But at least you learn them.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. I was really, frustrated about it for a while. But then God kind of reminded me, like, hey, if I had just given you all these perfect horses, what would you ever have learned? We've had horses with physical conditions where we had to get the vet involved, and then we had to treat them at home and do certain things, and some attitude issues and stuff like that, where we had to learn, okay, how do I deal with this? But it's made us better horse owners, and for that I'm super grateful. But anyway, we ended up getting some minis because they're cute, and that's fun. And it is River Ride Mini Ranch, so we have to have some minis.
Gotta have some.
And then we realized that, it takes a lot of time to take care of all these horses. So, but it's also very expensive. So I either had to go get a job or find a way to get these horses to kick in on stall rent and feed.
They need to get a job.
Yeah, absolutely. So I made them get a job. Actually, Doug, my husband, years ago when he was still working for Purina, had fed a herd of horses at Agape, which is a therapeutic riding place.
Yeah.
And they also do equine assisted learning. So he suggested I go up there and I check them out and see what they've got going on. So Sharon Cranfill and I went up there and met with these people and saw what they were doing. They sent me on to a place called Strides to Success. And I met with the director there, Debbie Anderson. Wonderful lady, has an amazing testimony and just lots of years of horse experience and a team of people with all kinds of letters behind their name.
Right.
And they have some fun curriculums put together, foolproof, with all of their experience and knowledge and wisdom. So I bought a couple of those and I brought them home, and Sharon said, well, here's the girls, you take them once a week, and we just got into it. And it really just turned out to be this amazing thing. And Sharon saw a big change in the girls' attitudes when they came back home from the barn. And then I started working with some other people individually, some kids with some traumas, past traumas. And we've just seen how this has made such a difference in a lot of people's lives. And for me myself, I am a recovered addict and had been on my journey of recovery for, I guess, 4 years before we got horses, and felt like I was doing pretty great.
Right.
I was maturing as a Christian, and, and living this life of new people, new places, new things, and, doing all the things you're supposed to do as like a grown, responsible adult. Right. And then horses came into my life, and they affected me so much. Yeah. They changed me even more than I had already been changed, and just kind of the fruits of the Spirit, especially the patience. I felt like I was doing pretty good in the patience department until I had a horse that wouldn't stand still when I tried to mount him.
Well, see, you asked God for patience, He'll give you opportunity to practice them.
He sure will.
So, He's
answered a lot of prayers through horses in the last 3 years of my life, and it's just been this beautiful journey, and I'm still learning and still growing, and I have not by any means mastered any part of it.
Right, yeah.
I compare it a lot to, it's the Christian walk.
Right, yeah.
You haven't arrived, and I don't care how many years you've been walking with the Lord, you've never arrived, this side of heaven. So it's the same with the horses. I don't care how many years you've had horses, I don't think you ever arrive at this place where you're like, I'm a master horseman, and I know exactly what I'm doing all the time, and I always get the results I want because my actions are, no. I don't think so.
Yeah, and 3 years prior to this, you would have probably never thought you would ever have a conversation where you're talking about painting horses.
No, absolutely not.
And the effect that it would have on other people.
Yeah.
So when you first started this and you got the information, did you think it would really grow to the way it did? Or were you like, okay, let me see just if it would work?
Yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. God's done so many new things in my life that have always been bigger than me and kind of a little scary.
Right, yeah.
So that wasn't outside of the norm. Like, I'm okay with being uncomfortable. I'm okay with being scared. I'm okay with, doing something new. I just have gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, God, this is yours, and this will be whatever you want it to be. But I definitely couldn't see like how I was qualified for it at all, or how I could possibly do this.
Right.
But He has been so good to bring the right people into my life along my journey to teach me things that I need to know. We've had great vets. I actually just started working with a Liberty trainer out of Muncie. Her name is Allison Whistler, and she's fantastic. And she does Liberty work. And what that means is you work with the horse without their lead rope and halter on. So your horse is choosing to stay with you.
So your horse is not like it's just standing there.
It's there. It's free.
It
has free will. It could go anywhere it wants.
And are you in the circle?
You can be in the circle. That's definitely where you start your training. But eventually,
you'll be out and about anywhere.
Out and about anywhere. Yeah, which is
Wow.
very kind of, again, back to how we are with God. You know, He gives us free will and the ability to choose, and we could go out into the world and we can partake of all the worldly things, or we can choose to stay close to Christ
and
have a relationship with Him.
And you're working with your horses to get that?
Yes, yeah, we just started a few weeks ago, and actually Wilbur and I have kind of played around with the Liberty for a while because I think he has natural Liberty tendencies. He has a really good draw, which means when I, step in a certain way, it kind of pulls him to me. Like there is a lead rope attached, but there's not.
Yeah, right.
So he has that going for him. So a lot of the time when I was trying to spend time with him and I wasn't for sure what I could do, we would just kind of run around in this circle and he would stay with me. If I walk, he walks. If I jog, he trots along. And if I run, he'll kind of lope alongside me. And then when I stop, he stops. If I turn, he turns. And I just thought, wow, this is really, cool that he does this. And then went to a weekend-long Liberty Festival. Well, actually went to the first one last year and saw some people perform and give some clinics, and we went back this year and they just put on this spectacular show, and there's music and there's costumes and really
things choreographed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's very cool. It almost looks like you're dancing with your horse or something, like you're out there, just moving your arms around and the horse will spin in a circle, or it will stand up on its hind legs, or just whatever,
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
So I saw Allison perform and they announced that she was from Muncie, and I just thought, well, I've got to call her.
Right,
I've got to find her. So I got on Facebook and I found her and she agreed to work with me. So Wilbur and I are traveling over to Muncie every Thursday, and she's kind of helping me fine tune what we do.
Yeah,
so
and things are falling into place.
Yeah, they are.
They're just like, here you go. So like a year and a half ago when you started River Ride Mini Ranch. Yeah. When you started this, here you are now doing. It's amazing. Are you thinking about the future, or are you just saying we're just letting things flow?
So I do think about the future because people are always asking. But yeah, I am just kind of like, I take it day by day.
Yeah.
God has never asked me to, focus more than that, because He knows that's about all I can handle is one day at a time. So that's what I do, and it just kind of unfolds. But I have definitely given some thought, to things that might happen in the future.
So you help over with Sharon.
The House of Ruth Girls.
The House of Ruth Girls, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And anybody can benefit from your
Absolutely.
therapy.
You do not have to be in recovery or addiction. You do not have to have a troubled past. You don't have to be an at-risk youth. Does it help people like that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, it does.
If you're shy.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. If you can come to my house and work with a 1,200-pound animal and tell him what to do and where to put his feet, that just builds so much confidence in a person.
Yeah, I think so.
So, just anybody who wants to be a better human being, who wants to have more peace, who wants to learn about horses and how to care for a horse. Right. That's really, the basis of everything. We do have these activities that are all laid out that focus on certain skills, but if you have a specific area that you want to work on, bring that to me. Let me know. Yeah. Let's set goals together and let's do the thing. But the basis of all the activities are learning how to care for the horse and being able to build a relationship and bond with one.
Right.
And a lot of people miss out on that. You might go to, some place where a horse is saddled up for you and you just go jump on and take a guided trail ride. And that's great. I love that. Go do it. Get out in nature and enjoy horses any way you can.
But it's robotic because they know where they're going.
Sure.
Whereas here, Wilbur gets to establish a relationship with every person. Right. Flash gets established with all the horses. They get to establish a relationship.
Yeah, you get to know their different personalities. You get to be with them face to face. You don't even look at a horse's face when you're on their back,
Right,
you miss out on that. And the cool thing the way that they teach you and why it works is because, one, horses act as a mirror. Whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever you're putting out there, they not only pick up on, but then they portray it back to you in their actions. So it kind of gives you this ability to confront your own self in them.
Wow.
It brings out the empathy and your desire to help care for your own self through the horse. Very cool. Horses are just so cool. I mean, God made them, and they're just such a miracle. And actually, horse comes from equine. It's an equine.
I had no idea.
Okay, a horse is an equine. So is a donkey. But it's an equine. Equine comes from the Latin word equus, which means equal us. Oh. And that's the only animal on the planet, that we refer to as equal to us.
I had no idea. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's amazing when you think about it, because you're right. When you're on the back of a horse, you're not looking at their face. Mm-hmm. When you're doing this, you're creating that relationship with them. And the horses, they're able to, from what you're telling me, are they able to recognize somebody that comes back, and have that kind of relationship with?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They recognize people. They recognize how people feel. Yeah. We have this one little mini. She's not a cuddly kind of pony either. But she ended up bonding with a little girl out of Cincinnati who was cutting for a while. And we were kind of shocked, out of all the horses out of the herd, she kind of picked this one. And you do kind of gravitate towards the horse that you need, the one that's going to teach you the lesson or, whatever. But this little pony, every time she would pull up, the girl, when she would come, the pony would run to the gate to meet her. One of the ladies from the House of Ruth, and this is very cool, she had some neurological issues and balance issues. Didn't know it about my horse, but ended up choosing the horse to work with that also has some neurological issues that came from EPM, which is a long word, and I can't even tell you what it is, but it pretty much means he ate some possum poop, and it gave him some gut issues, which turned into neurological issues. Yeah. So he kind of stumbles when he walks and things like that, and that's the horse that she chose.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was, wow. So is this like, are you open every day, every other day? I mean, how does somebody get involved with your organization to your classes?
Call me. Just call me. We have a Facebook page, River Ride Mini Ranch. Our landline is 827-1718. We also have an email, riverrideminiranch@gmail.com. I'm terrible at checking my email, so that's definitely not the preferred method. But
but you do Messenger on Facebook?
Yes, I have Facebook Messenger as well, and Facebook actually says that we're open 9 to 5 every day. Yeah. And technically I am. I mean, my barn is at my house, so I can be there all the time. But because my barn is at my house, I can be very flexible. Right. If I had a client that wasn't available until 7 o'clock in the evening, sure, I can probably do that. It just depends on my schedule and the client's schedule.
Will the horses do stuff at night now that we're dark? Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, if it's after dark, my personal preference is not to be out there after dark, but we can do some stuff in the barn, and we have lights in the barn. So
So the horses, and you have now 10, and how many minis you got? I forget to count.
Starlight, Baby Eula, Rosie,
adorable,
and Mabel. So we have 4 minis, but we have 2 mini babies. Starlight has a baby girl, Fancy.
Did I see the babies? I don't know if
they were out there, And then Rosie has a baby, Whiskers. So technically 6 minis.
Yeah, because there was the mom and the son.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing. Yeah, that's right. Because they were almost the same size. That's right. Remember? Yeah, adorable. Little horses.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think so.
And now, do they? I mean, do they get painted on too? The little ones, the little minis. Or just the bigger horses?
They haven't yet, but yes, Rosie has been painted, Baby Eula has been painted. Starlight, I don't use her for that kind of stuff, as because she's the one that's not the cuddly kind of pony.
When you're saying cuddly, I mean, I'm thinking of grab a dog or a kitty cat and hold it. I mean, obviously you can't do that with a horse. So when you say cuddly, I mean, I guess horses could give hugs, kind of put.
They do. They will come wrap their necks around you. Or just put their face in your face.
Yeah.
Mabel and Rosie and Whiskers especially love to just like rub their noses in your face.
And those are the minis. Mm-hmm. So the bigger horses don't, Flash and Wilbur and the other bigger horses?
Flash definitely does not. He's the one that's not the cuddly kind of pony. Wilbur does, and then Cody and Boaz.
Oh, that's right. Remember Boaz, yeah.
Yeah. Not super cuddly, but very friendly, and will let you love on them, definitely, but not, I'm going to rub my big fuzzy muzzle in your face.
Yeah. Do they sneeze on you? I mean,
they have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been sneezed on.
Can't get that Germ-X out there.
Yeah, I don't worry about that, honestly. I do keep some around for clients that have issues, but I don't. You just get used to it, and you're in the barn, and you're working around pee and poop all day long, and I'm gross. I'm kind of gross.
That's
I don't even care.
So you've been doing this since what? June of last year?
Yes.
Okay, so June of 22. So now, again, you're talking about one day you guys kind of don't think too much ahead, but, now you got 10 horses, and how many people can you at a time do you take a group of people one-on-one? I mean,
I do both, groups
okay.
and individual sessions. Yeah. When I had the House of Ruth girls, I think probably the biggest group we ever had was 10, and that's definitely doable. I don't think I would want a group bigger than that because I need to be able to, focus on each person, each horse. Yeah. I do have some volunteers that come out, so when I have group sessions going on, I have, extra set of eyes and hands on the situation if need be because, I mean, horses are wonderful, but they're animals and you just, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, and they, like you said, if somebody's in a bad mood, they pick that up as well. Now, you saw that big circle thing. All your horses are broke, right? Where they can, any chance of anybody ever riding the horses for the therapy, or is it just strictly off?
So, mostly ground-based. Yeah. However, there is a small portion of the curriculum where someone does get on horseback, but it's for a very short time, and it's based around the life skill, and it's because of the life skill, that is the best activity. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I would imagine when you talk about life skill, like this helps out with anxiety. I mean, what all does the skills you're talking about when you talk about life skills, what does this help?
Sure. With? So, I mean, definitely it does help with anxiety, but as far as, and a lot of other things too, but specific life skills, leadership and, leadership by love and not by fear or bullying. Creative thinking, critical thinking, concentration, focus, time management. We have a lesson on time management where we dig a little into the Pony Express. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Fun time in our country's history, and it's very relatable. And a lot of our lessons we do kind of relate to, the old Wild West or just cowboys and cowgirls, and that's a lot of fun for the kiddos. Yeah.
I tell you, we can probably stay on here for a lot more time. I told you that 30 minutes goes fast. Yeah. Real quick, how can they get hold of you again?
You find us on Facebook at River Ride Mini Ranch, or you can call our landline at 827-1718.
All right.
Yeah.
Get out there and ride, or not ride a horse, but get out there and paint a horse.
Absolutely.
River Ride Mini Ranch.
You got it.
Where are you guys located at?
Knolltown.
Knolltown. Check it out. You can't miss it. River Ride Mini Ranch. Go see Heather Howard. Learn some life skills with the Wilbur and Flash and all the other horses. Check it out, and we'll check you out next month on the spot.